Hidden in the rolling plains of southern England lies a monument that has outlived empires, kings, and time itself. A circle of giant stones carved, lifted, and aligned with the heavens over 5,000 years ago. It is called Stonehenge, but what secrets does it truly hold? Some say it was an ancient temple of the sun. Others whisper it was a portal to another world, a connection between the living and the dead. Today, we journey deep into the past to uncover how Stonehenge was built, who built it, and why it may be more than just a monument. It may be a message from another age. Long before the pyramids rose in Egypt, a small community on Salisbury Plain began something extraordinary. Without iron, without wheels, without written language, they carved and transported stones weighing up to 40 tons from 250 kilometers away in Wales. How did they do it? Modern engineers still debate the method, but the truth may lie not in strength but in unity and belief. They were not just builders. They were astronomers, priests, and visionaries. The story begins with the blue stones, smaller stones weighing around 4 tons each. Geologists have traced them to the Preseli Hills in Wales, a journey of over 250 kilometers. Imagine the dedication required to move these massive rocks across land and water, using only muscle, logs, and rafts. Why go to such lengths? Recent discoveries suggest that these bluestones were believed to possess healing properties. They weren't just construction materials, they were sacred artifacts, imbued with ancient power. People may have journeyed to Stonehenge not just to build, but to be healed, to connect with something divine. Then came the giants. The massive sarsen stones, weighing up to 40 tons, were quarried from the Marlborough Downs, about 30 kilometers away. Think about that moving an object, the weight of 6 adult elephants, across rugged terrain. How is this possible? The most accepted theory involves a combination of sledges running on log rollers, lubricated with animal fat. It would have taken hundreds, if not thousands, of people working in perfect coordination. The effort must have been monumental, a project spanning generations. Each stone pulled was a testament to their shared purpose, a collective prayer etched into the landscape. And this wasn't just brute force. The stones were shaped with incredible precision, using nothing more than other, harder stones called mauls. They even carved mortise and tenon joints, a sophisticated woodworking technique, to lock the horizontal lintels onto the upright pillars. This wasn't just a pile of rocks. It was a masterpiece of prehistoric engineering, designed to last an eternity. These builders weren't primitives. They were masters of their craft, driven by a vision we are still trying to comprehend. So, who were these master builders? They were Neolithic Britons, people of the late Stone Age. Forget the stereotypical image of cave. Archaeological evidence points to a sophisticated society. They were farmers, they lived in organized settlements, and they had a rich spiritual life. Excavations around Stonehenge have revealed villages like Durrington Walls, where the builders are thought to have lived. Feasting halls, animal bones, and pottery suggest they held massive communal gatherings, perhaps celebrating the completion of different phases of the monument. These were people deeply connected to the cycles of nature. The most famous feature of Stonehenge is its perfect alignment with the sol. On the summer solstice, the rising sun shines directly through the heart of the circle, illuminating the central altar stone. On the winter solstice, the setting sun does the same. This wasn't a coincidence. It was the entire point. Stonehenge was a celestial clock, a calendar carved in stone. It marked the changing of the seasons, the time to plant, the time to harvest. It was the center of their world, connecting the heavens to the earth. But was it only a calendar? The sheer number of human remains found buried around the site tells a different story. For over 1,000 years, Stonehenge was a vast cemetery, but not for everyone. Analysis of the bones reveals these were elite individuals, community leaders, or perhaps even royalty. They were brought here from all over Britain to be laid to rest in this sacred ground. This suggests Stonehenge was a place of ancestors, a domain of the dead. The stone circle itself might have been seen as the realm of the spirits, while the nearby wooden circles, like Woodhenge, were the realm of the living. This brings us to the portal theory. Could Stonehenge have been seen as a gateway between these two worlds? A place where the veil between life and death was at its thinnest. The solstices, then, wouldn't just be astronomical events. They would be moments of immense spiritual power, a time when priests or shamans could communicate with the ancestors, seek their wisdom, or channel their energy. The bluestones, with their supposed healing properties, might have been the conduits for this supernatural connection. Imagine the ceremonies that took place here, under the light of a midwinter moon, with the setting sun framed perfectly between the stones. The entire community would gather. Chants would echo across the plain, fires would blaze, and the air would be thick with reverence and awe. They weren't just observing the sky. They were participating in a cosmic drama, ensuring the sun would return, that life would continue, and that their connection to the spirit world remained strong. The monument was alive, a pulsating heart of spiritual energy. Over the centuries, Stonehenge was altered and rebuilt multiple times. The arrangement of the stones changed, new features were added, and old ones were removed. This wasn't a static monument. It was a living, breathing, sacred space that evolved with the beliefs of the people who used it. From its early days, as a simple earthwork enclosure, to its final, magnificent stone phase, Stonehenge tells the story of changing faith and enduring spirituality. And then, around 1500 BC, it fell silent. Construction stopped. The great gatherings ceased. Why? No one knows for sure. Perhaps new beliefs arrived of the Bronze Age. Perhaps the climate changed, or society collapsed. The purpose of Stonehenge was lost to time, and it slowly began its long transformation from a sacred center to an enigmatic ruin. For thousands of years, it stood abandoned, a silent testament to a forgotten world. The Romans knew it as a place of strange power. In the medieval period, legends grew, attributing its construction to the wizard Merlin, who supposedly spirited the stones from Ireland. It became a place of folklore, a mysterious landmark on a lonely plain. Today, we approach Stonehenge with science. We use a ground-penetrating radar to map what lies beneath the soil. We analyze DNA from ancient bones, and we study the geology of the stones to retrace their epic journey. Every new discovery adds another piece to the puzzle, but the central mystery remains. We know the how, but we can only guess at the why. What was the ultimate purpose of this colossal undertaking? Was it a temple to the sun, a hospital for the ancient world, a parliament for tribal kings, a gateway for spirits? Perhaps it was all of these things and more. Stonehenge is not a monument with a single meaning, but a canvas upon which generations of people projected their deepest beliefs about life, death, and the cosmos. Its enduring power lies in this very ambiguity. It forces us to confront the limits of our knowledge and to marvel at the ingenuity and spiritual depth of our ancestors. They left us no written records, no user's manual. They left only the stones, aligned with the stars, waiting patiently for us to decipher their silent message. As the sun sets over Salisbury Plain, casting long shadows that dance between the ancient pillars, we are left with a profound sense of connection, a connection to the people who built this place, to their struggles, their beliefs, and their vision. Stonehenge is more than just a circle of stones. It is a bridge across time, a reminder that even in a world of science and technology, some mysteries are meant to endure, inspiring wonder and awe for generations to come. It is a portal not to another world, but to the deepest, most timeless parts of the human spirit. Have you ever looked at a picture of Stonehenge and wondered, what's the big deal? It's a circle of massive stones, right? Well, what if I told you it's not just a circle, but a cosmic clock, a celestial map, and possibly even an ancient energy machine? For centuries, Stonehenge has guarded its secrets, but today, we're pulling back the curtain on one of history's greatest enigmas. Stick around, because what you're about to hear will change everything you thought you knew about this ancient monument. Welcome back to the channel. Let's start with the basics. Stonehenge is old. Really old. Construction began around 5,000 years ago, even before the Great Pyramids of Giza. Imagine that, a society without modern technology, without even the wheel, quarrying, transporting, and erecting these colossal stones. some weighing over 40 tons. That's like moving 6 adult elephants without a truck. The real magic of Stonehenge isn't just in the stones themselves, but in their precise and almost impossible arrangement. Let's dive into the celestial code. Every year, on the longest day of summer, something incredible happens. As the sun peaks over the horizon, it rises precisely above the heelstone, a solitary monolith standing just outside the main circle. Its first rays shine directly through the heart of the monument, illuminating the central altar stone. A coincidence? Hardly. This isn't a one-off trick of the light. This perfect alignment reveals that Stonehenge was, at its core, a sophisticated ancient observatory. Its builders were master astronomers, tracking the cycles of the sun and moon with a precision that baffles modern scientists. The entire structure is a calendar built of stone, marking not just the summer and winter solstices, but also predicting lunar eclipses. This required generations of observation and a deep understanding of celestial mechanics. They weren't just farmers watching the sky for planting season. They were scientists charting the heavens. But the plot thickens. The alignment is almost too perfect. Some researchers have pointed out a startling similarity to another ancient wonder. When you look at the 3 main trilithons, the iconic structures with 2 upright stones and a lintel on top, their layout seems to mirror the pattern of Orion's belt. Does that sound familiar? It should. The Great Pyramids of Giza in Egypt are also said to align with Orion's belt. Could this be a mere coincidence? 2 of the most iconic ancient monuments on Earth, separated by thousands of miles and centuries, both pointing to the same constellation. This has led to a fascinating and controversial theory that Stonehenge wasn't an isolated project. Could it be part of a global network of sacred sites? A celestial map etched onto the very surface of the Earth, linking ancient civilizations through a shared cosmic language. Imagine a world where our ancestors, from Britain to Egypt, were connected by a universal understanding of the stars. It's a mind-bending idea, but the evidence keeps piling up. Now, if the astronomical alignments weren't enough to blow your mind, let's talk about the stones themselves. These aren't just any rocks. There are 2 main types. The larger sarsens, sourced from about 20 miles away, and the smaller bluestones. The mystery lies with the bluestones. Geologists have traced their origin to the Preseli Hills in Wales, a staggering 150 miles away. How on earth did a Neolithic society transport dozens of multi-ton stones across that distance, over land and water? Theories range from dragging them on rollers and sledges to floating them on rafts. Some even suggest they were moved by glaciers during an ice age, though the dates don't quite line up. Whatever the method, it was a monumental feat of engineering and sheer willpower that we still can't fully explain. But why go to all that trouble? Why those specific stones from that specific place? This brings us to the power of the stones. Legends have long whispered that the bluestones possess healing properties. Even the name of the quarry area in Wales is associated with holy wells and healing springs. Was Stonehenge a kind of ancient hospital? The lords of the Neolithic world? The number of burials found on site, many showing signs of injury or illness, seems to support this. People may have traveled hundreds of miles, not just to build the monument, but to be healed by it. Modern science is now catching up with these ancient legends. When scientists scan the stones with advanced instruments, they detect strange energy anomalies. Each stone carries a unique magnetic resonance. It's as if the monument is humming, still vibrating with an ancient power. Some experiments have even shown that the stones have unusual acoustic properties, with sound reverberating within the circle in a way that can create a disorienting, trance-like state. This leads us to the realm of ritual and ceremony. Experimental archaeologists have tried to recreate what might have happened here thousands of years ago. Imagine the scene. Chanting echoing off the stones. The air thick with the smoke of sacred herbs. The rhythmic beat of drums. Medieval folklore even claimed the stones were brought from Ireland by the wizard Merlin, who stole them from a giant's mystical stone circle. But there's an even more intriguing theory. What if Stonehenge stands on something we can't see? Many believe the monument is built at the intersection of powerful ley lines and visible rivers of terrestrial energy that are said to connect sacred sites across the globe. Picture it, an energetic grid crisscrossing the Earth, with Stonehenge as a major power junction. From Stonehenge, You can draw a straight line connecting it to other ancient sites like Glastonbury Tor, and even, some would argue, the pyramids of Giza. Was Stonehenge a temple for sun worshippers? An astronomical calendar? A place of healing? Or was it something far more advanced? A kind of prehistoric power plant? A machine designed to harness and amplify the Earth's natural energies for purposes we can only dream of? Built long before recorded history, its purpose remains one of humanity's most profound mysteries. So, the next time you see Stonehenge, don't just see a pile of rocks. See an observatory that maps the cosmos, a hospital built of healing stones, a marvel of ancient engineering, and perhaps a key to unlocking a lost chapter of human history. The secrets are there, waiting in the silent hum of the stones and the precise alignment of the stars. What do you think? Was it built by human hands alone, or was there something more at play? Let me know your theories in the comments below. Imagine a world without cities, without empires, a world where survival was a daily struggle. Yet, in this world, our ancestors chose to undertake an almost impossible task. They quarried, transported, and erected colossal stones, each weighing tens of tons, with a precision that baffles us even today. They built Stonehenge. For centuries, this stone circle has stood on the Salisbury Plain, a silent witness to the passage of time. It has seen civilizations rise and fall, heard the whispers of countless generations, and guarded its secrets with an unyielding silence. We've pored over every detail, using ground-penetrating radar, DNA analysis, and astronomical calculations to peel back the layers of its past. We know who built it, not a single group, but waves of different peoples over thousands of years. We know when, starting over 5,000 years ago. We even have a good idea of how, through sheer human ingenuity and communal effort. But the one question that echoes through the ages, the question that draws millions of us to this sacred ground each year, is why? Why pour so much energy, so much life into creating this monument? Early theories painted a grim picture of druidic priests and human sacrifice, a narrative fueled by Roman accounts and a fascination with the macabre. But archaeology tells a different story. The remains found here speak not of violence, but of reverence. They are the bones of people from across ancient Britain and even mainland Europe, many of whom were ill or injured. It seems Stonehenge wasn't a place of sacrifice, but a place of healing, a lords of the Neolithic Age, where people made pilgrimages seeking cures from the gods they believed resided within these stones. Others look to the sky. The alignment is undeniable. On the summer solstice, the sun rises perfectly over the heel stone, casting a beam of light directly into the heart of the circle. On the winter solstice, the setting sun does the exact opposite, framed perfectly by the great This was no accident. It was a colossal calendar, a celestial clock that marked the turning of the seasons. For these early farmers, knowing when to plant and when to harvest was the difference between life and death. Stonehenge connected them to the cosmos, making the heavens predictable, understandable. It was their science, their religion, and their survival guide, all carved in stone. But the story gets even deeper. The blue stones, the smaller inner stones, are not local. They were brought here from the Preseli Hills in Wales, over 150 miles away. Why go to such extraordinary lengths? Recent studies suggest the blue stones were believed to have magical or healing properties. Perhaps the monument was built here, on this specific plane, to unite the power of the local sarsen stones with the sacred magic of the distant blue stones. It was a symbol of unification, a monumental effort to bring different tribes and their beliefs together in one shared, sacred space, a testament to community. Even today, Stonehenge draws millions each year. Some come for science, others for spirit, but the monument remains silent, keeping its true secret. We have uncovered its age, its builders, its many purposes. A celestial calendar, a center for healing, a symbol of unity. Yet, the ultimate question remains, why? Why did they build something so enduring that it would outlast their civilization? Something so grand it seems meant to be seen from the heavens. Stonehenge stands not just as a monument of stone, but as a monument of the human spirit. A reminder that long before our modern world, our ancestors looked up at the same sky and asked the same fundamental questions we still ask today. Where do we come from? What is our place in the universe? What lies beyond? Perhaps the answer has been waiting all along, not as a single, simple explanation, but as a reflection of our own enduring quest for meaning. It's carved in stone, whispered on the wind that sweeps across the plain. The mystery of Stonehenge is, in the end, the mystery of ourselves. The mystery endures. In the quiet heart of southern England, shrouded by mist and time, stands a monument that has defied history, a silent circle of giants, carved and raised over 5,000 years ago, long before the first pharaohs ruled Egypt. We call it Stonehenge. But what is it, really? A temple to the sun? A gateway to another dimension? Or a message etched in stone, waiting for us to decipher? Today, we peel back the layers of legend and travel deep into the past to uncover the truth behind one of humanity's greatest enigmas. Join us as we explore the secrets of Stonehenge. And don't forget to subscribe for more journeys into the unknown. Imagine this, a world without metal tools, without the wheel, without a single written word. Yet, on the Salisbury Plain, a community of people embarked on a project that would seem impossible even today. They carved and transported colossal stones, some weighing up to 40 tons, from quarries over 150 miles away in Wales. Modern engineers have proposed theories involving log rollers, sledges, and immense manpower, but the sheer scale of the operation remains staggering. It wasn't just brute force. It was a feat of incredible cooperation, precision, and unwavering belief. These weren't mere laborers. They were pioneers, driven by a purpose so powerful it could literally move mountains. In the flickering firelight of their settlements, leaders and shamans would gather, their faces turned to the heavens. They were mapping the stars, tracking the seasons, and weaving the cosmos into the very fabric of their lives. They weren't just building a structure, they were building a bridge to the gods. The true genius of Stonehenge isn't just its construction, it's cosmic connection. Every year, on the summer solstice, a breathtaking spectacle unfolds. As dawn breaks, the rising sun aligns perfectly with the heel stone, casting a beam of light directly into the heart of the circle. This isn't an accident. It's a celestial clock, a calendar built of stone, marking the longest day of the year with unfailing accuracy. This proves its builders were sophisticated astronomers, possessing a deep understanding of solar and lunar cycles. But the mystery deepens. Some researchers have pointed out startling similarities between Stonehenge's layout and celestial patterns. Like the constellation Orion's belt, a pattern also mirrored by the Great Pyramids of Giza in Egypt. Could these ancient wonders, separated by thousands of miles and different cultures, be connected? Is it possible that Stonehenge was part of a global network of sacred sites, a planetary grid designed by a forgotten global civilization? This theory, once dismissed, is gaining traction as we uncover more about the advanced knowledge of our ancestors. Were they sharing information across continents, guided by a universal understanding of the cosmos? The stones remain silent, but the patterns in the sky suggest a story far grander than we ever imagined. As we stand before these ancient stones, we're faced with more questions than answers. The people who built Stonehenge left behind no written records, no detailed blueprints to explain their motives. But perhaps the monument itself is their legacy. It speaks of a people deeply connected to the earth and the sky, a community capable of incredible feats of engineering and organization, all driven by a shared spiritual purpose. Archaeological digs around the site have revealed evidence of massive feasts and gatherings, suggesting Stonehenge was a place of pilgrimage, healing, and ceremony. It was the sacred center of their world, a place where the realms of the living, the dead, and the divine all converged. The thousands of human remains found nearby hint at its role as a monumental burial ground, a final resting place for generations of ancestors, making it a vast city of the dead. So, what is Stonehenge? It's not just one thing. It's a masterpiece of engineering, a precise astronomical observatory, a sacred temple, and a solemn cemetery. It is a testament to the ingenuity, spirit, and ambition of our ancestors. It reminds us that even in a world we consider primitive, humanity was capable of reaching for the stars and creating something that would endure for millennia. The stones continue to hold their secrets, challenging each new generation to look deeper and question what we think we know about our own past. For thousands of years, a circle of silent giants has stood on the Salisbury Plain, guarding secrets we're only just beginning to unravel. This is Stonehenge, a mystery written in stone, and today we're going to decode it. What if I told you this ancient monument was more than just a pile of rocks? What if it was a celestial clock, a source of forgotten energy, and a gateway between worlds? Forget everything you think you know. We're about to journey back in time to uncover the truth behind one of humanity's greatest enigmas. Every year, on the longest day of summer, something incredible happens. The sun rises in perfect alignment with the monument's heel stone, casting a beam of light directly into the heart of the circle. A coincidence? Not a chance. This precise alignment proves that Stonehenge was an ancient observatory, a sophisticated calendar used to track the sun and moon. Its creators were master astronomers, mapping the heavens with a precision that baffles modern engineers. But the mystery deepens. Some researchers have noticed that the layout of Stonehenge seems to mirror the stars in the constellation Orion's belt. This is the exact same celestial pattern reflected in the layout of the Great Pyramids of Giza in Egypt. Could these two iconic wonders, separated by thousands of miles, be connected? Are they part of a global network? A prehistoric celestial map left by a forgotten civilization that spanned the entire globe? The implications are staggering, suggesting a level of ancient coordination we've never imagined possible. Let's move from the sky to the stones themselves. These aren't just ordinary rocks. Each massive sarsen and smaller bluestone carries a unique magnetic signature. When scientists use advanced instruments to scan them, they detect strange energy anomalies. It's as if the stones are still humming, vibrating with a power locked within them for millennia. Is this the remnant of ancient rituals, or something else entirely? Legends have long spoken of the stone's mystical properties. Medieval texts tell tales of the wizard Merlin, who was said to have magically transported them from a land of giants in Ireland, imbuing them with healing powers. Modern theories propose something just as fantastic, that Stonehenge is built upon powerful ley lines. These are invisible rivers of terrestrial energy that are thought to connect sacred sites across the globe, from Stonehenge to the nearby Avebury Stone Circle, to Glastonbury Tor, and even stretching all the way to the pyramids of Egypt. These sites may form a global energy grid. Was Stonehenge a temple for worship? Or was it something far more advanced, a kind of prehistoric power plant, harnessing the Earth's natural energy? The clues don't just lie in the stones, but in the ground beneath them. Buried all around the monument are the remains of hundreds of people, men, women, and children. They weren't buried haphazardly. Each body was laid with care, often cremated and placed in a specific direction. This discovery transformed our understanding of the site. Stonehenge wasn't just an observatory. It was a vast ceremonial center, a place where ancient communities gathered to mark the most profound moments of existence. Imagine this place thousands of years ago, under a blanket of stars. Druid-like figures in flowing robes move in procession, their faces illuminated by the flickering light of torches. The air is thick with the smoke of bonfires and the rhythmic beat of drums. They gather here to celebrate life, to honor their dead, and perhaps to communicate with the gods. They may have believed that these stones, aligned so perfectly with the sun and moon, held the power to guide souls from this world to the next. Every ritual performed here was a reflection of the great cosmic secular eternal dance between day and night, summer and winter, life and death. So, what is Stonehenge? Is it an astronomical calendar, a source of ancient energy, a sacred burial ground, or all of the above? The more we discover, the more we realize that our ancestors were far more sophisticated than we give them credit for. They understood the cosmos. They may have harnessed the Earth's energy, and they built monuments that encoded their profound connection to the universe. Stonehenge isn't just a relic of the past, it's a message written in stone, waiting for us to finally understand its language. The silent stones still have stories to tell, and their greatest secrets may be yet to come. Scene opens with dramatic, swirling storm clouds over the silhouette of Stonehenge. The music is atmospheric, mysterious, and slightly ominous. Have you ever looked at something so ancient, so monumental that it makes you question everything you thought you knew about the past? For centuries, Stonehenge has stood as a silent testament to a forgotten age. We know it's a masterpiece of Neolithic engineering, a celestial calendar of breathtaking precision. But what if that's not the whole story? What if the hands that placed these colossal stones weren't entirely human, cut to ancient carvings and artistic renderings of strange, disc-shaped objects in the sky and tall, otherworldly beings? It sounds like science fiction, I know. But some theorists believe the clues have been hiding in plain sight for millennia. Ancient texts from civilizations around the world speak of sky gods, fiery chariots, and visitors from the stars. Carvings depict beings with large heads and strange eyes. Coincidence? Perhaps. But then you look at Stonehenge, and the questions start to multiply. Show an animation of glowing lights descending over a primitive Stonehenge, with beams of energy interacting with the stones. Could this incredible structure have been more than just a temple or a calendar? Could it have been a landing beacon? A celestial signpost for ancient astronauts navigating the cosmos? Some researchers even claim the stones themselves possess unusual properties, resonating at specific frequencies, almost like a giant transmitter. A technology that should have been impossible for our ancestors. Quick cuts between a skeptical archaeologist shaking their head and a passionate theorist pointing emphatically at a diagram of Stonehenge. Of course, mainstream science dismisses these ideas. They argue there's no physical evidence, no alien artifacts, nothing but speculation fueled by our modern fascination with space. They point to the incredible ingenuity of ancient peoples, their deep understanding of astronomy, and their sheer determination as proof that Stonehenge is a purely human achievement. And they have a point. The people who built this were brilliant, but the why remains the most tantalizing part of the puzzle. Why invest generations of effort into building something so massive, so permanent? Why align it so perfectly with celestial events? Was it simply to honor the sun and moon? Or was it a message? A greeting card left for future generations or for someone else entirely? Transition to stunning, modern-day footage of a sunrise at Stonehenge. Tourists are silhouetted against the glowing stones, taking photos. Drones capture sweeping aerial shots. Today, Stonehenge is more than just an archaeological site. It's a global icon. Millions of people flock here every year, drawn by its magnetic pole. Some come as scientists, armed with laser scanners and ground-penetrating radar, hoping to unlock its final secrets. Others arrive as pilgrims, seeking a spiritual connection to the Earth and their ancestors. Astronomers, historians, geologists, mystics, they all stand before these stones and see something different. Show a montage of interview clips, an archaeologist explaining carbon dating, a spiritual leader talking about Earth's energy lines, and an astronomer discussing celestial alignments. We've peeled back so many layers of the mystery. We know how old it is. Parts of it are over 5,000 years old. We have theories about how they moved the stones, some weighing more than a small car, over hundreds of miles. We understand its function as a sophisticated solar and lunar calendar. We've answered the what, the when, and the how. But the ultimate question, the why, remains tantalizingly out of reach. Why build something that would so clearly outlast their own civilization, their language, their entire world? Why create a structure whose grand design is only fully appreciated from high above, from a vantage point their builders could never have reached? Was it a legacy for their descendants? A testament to their power? Or was it intended for an audience looking down from the heavens? The scene shifts to a breathtaking, slow aerial shot pulling back from Stonehenge as the sun sets. The sky is a blaze of orange and purple. The music swells with emotion and wonder. In the end, maybe the specific purpose doesn't matter as much as what Stonehenge represents. It's not just a monument of stone, it's a monument to the human spirit. It's a powerful reminder that long before our sprawling cities, before written history, before kings and empires, our ancestors stood right here, looked up at the very same sky, and were filled with the same sense of awe and wonder that we feel today. They asked the great questions. Where did we come from? Are we alone? What lies beyond the horizon? Beyond the stars? Stonehenge tells us that this deep, burning curiosity is one of the oldest and most fundamental parts of being human. The final shot shows the sun setting perfectly between two of the main trilithons, casting long shadows. The image slowly fades to black. Perhaps the answer's been here all along, not shouted, but whispered, carved into stone, carried on the wind, and echoing through time. The greatest legacy of Stonehenge isn't a solution, but the enduring mystery itself. For over 5,000 years, these stones have stood silent, unbroken, eternal. No king commanded their creation. No empire claimed their glory. They were built by people whose names we have forgotten, yet their legacy still speaks across millennia. This is Stonehenge, a circle of mystery carved into the heart of England. It's a symbol of something far greater than stone, a bridge between earth and the sky, life and death, man and the gods. 5,000 years ago, Britain was a land of wild rivers, dense forests, and roaming beasts. Tribes of early farmers and hunters began to gather here on Salisbury Plain, drawn to something they couldn't explain. They started marking the earth, digging ditches, aligning wooden posts, and eventually hauling stones larger than anything built before. The first circle was wood. The second was made of bluestones, brought from the distant Welsh mountains. Each one was dragged over 250 kilometers, across rivers, hills, and swamps, using only primitive tools. Why endure such impossible labor? Because they believed the stones held power, a divine power that connected them to the cosmos. Imagine a tribe gathered under a canopy of stars, lighting torches and chanting. They were the first astronomers of their kind. The sky was their calendar, their god, their prophecy. Every sunrise and sunset, every phase of the moon, was recorded in the placement of these stones. And this led to one of Stonehenge's most incredible features. At dawn on the summer solstice, the longest day of the year, the sun rises exactly above the heel stone, casting a beam of light that strikes the altar stone at the circle's very heart. For them, this wasn't just science, it was sacred magic. It was a message written in geometry, signaling the union of heaven and earth. A moment of profound spiritual significance that brought their entire community together in awe and celebration. This cosmic alignment was the lifeblood of their culture, a celestial clock that governed their lives, their rituals, and their understanding of the world. But Stonehenge was more than a calendar. It was also a tomb, a place where the dead met the dawn. Excavations all around the site have revealed the remains of men, women, and children, buried with animal bones, precious beads, and tools. Each grave was carefully aligned with the path of the sun. Some bodies were cremated, their ashes scattered within the sacred ring. Others were buried whole, as if waiting to rise again. The ancients may have believed that the sun's light, striking the altar on that special day, could carry their souls to the afterlife. It was a place not of endings, but of new beginnings, a gateway to eternity. So, how did they move these colossal stones? This question has baffled experts for centuries. The larger Sossin stones weigh up to 30 tons, the equivalent of 5 elephants. The smaller blue stones, while only weighing about 4 tons each, were brought from over 200 kilometers away in Wales. The most popular theory is a combination of immense manpower and clever engineering. Picture this: hundreds of people working together. They likely placed the stones on wooden sledges and rolled them over a series of logs, like a moving track. To get them upright, they would have dug a large hole with one sloping side, slid the stone in, and then used a complex system of ropes, levers, and wooden frames to slowly pull it into a vertical position. It was a monumental task of sweat, muscle, and incredible determination. Now, let's talk about the people who built this wonder. For a long time, we knew very little about them, but modern science is unlocking their secrets. Analysis of skeletons found near Stonehenge reveals that these weren't just local tribes. People traveled from all over Britain, and even from mainland Europe, to be here. Some were skilled craftspeople, others were leaders, and many were pilgrims. Isotope analyses of their teeth tells us where they grew up, and it shows a diverse, well-connected society. These gatherings weren't just for building, they were massive festivals, Evidence of feasting, with thousands of animal bones discarded, suggests that Stonehenge was the center of a vibrant social and spiritual world, a prehistoric Glastonbury, if you will. The purpose of Stonehenge likely evolved over the 1,500 years it was in use. It started as a simpler earthwork and burial ground. Then came the bluestones, perhaps believed to have healing properties. This might suggest Stonehenge was a place of healing, the lords of the Bronze Age, where people traveled to be cured of their ailments. The final, grandest phase, with a massive sarsen, points to a sophisticated understanding of astronomy and a powerful religious authority. It was a multi-purpose site, a temple, a solar and lunar calendar, a burial ground for the elite, a center for social gathering, and a symbol of immense power and unity. As centuries passed, the world changed. New cultures, like the Beaker people, arrived with knowledge of the old ways faded, and Stonehenge gradually fell into disuse. The reasons for its abandonment are as mysterious as its creation. Was it a shift in religious beliefs, a climate change that altered their way of life, or did the society that sustained it simply collapse? The stones remained, silent witnesses to the rise and fall of their creator's world, slowly being reclaimed by the earth. It wasn't until the medieval period that people began to write about it again, weaving tales of Merlin, the magician, and giants building the circle in a single night. Today, Stonehenge stands as a powerful icon of human resilience, ingenuity, and our eternal quest for meaning. It reminds us that even without written language or advanced technology, our ancestors possessed a profound understanding of the world and the cosmos. They were driven by a need to connect with something larger than themselves, a need that still resonates with us today. Each year, thousands gather to watch the solstice sunrise, just as people did 5 millennia ago. Have you ever looked at Stonehenge and thought, how did they do that? We're taught that ancient people dragged these colossal stones across the land with brute force. But what if that's not the whole story? What if the real secret isn't about strength, but about a lost, forbidden knowledge? Recent discoveries are revealing something astonishing. Scientists in labs, scanning these ancient stones with advanced equipment, have found that the stones themselves resonate. When struck, they emit specific frequencies, creating a harmony with the natural sound waves of the earth. It's led some to believe that these frequencies could amplify human voices or musical instruments, effectively turning the entire circle into a gigantic acoustic temple. Imagine standing in the center, your voice carrying 4 miles across the landscape. But others suggest something even more mysterious. They propose that Stonehenge's builders understood the Earth's natural energy flow, what ancient cultures often refer to as ley lines. These are invisible lines of power that crisscross the globe, connecting sacred sites. When you trace these lines, you find an unbelievable connection. A glowing line can be drawn from Stonehenge through other ancient sites like Avaberry and Glastonbury Tor, all the way to the Great Pyramids of Giza in Egypt. Were the builders of Stonehenge primitive, as we've been told, or were they the inheritors of a forgotten global science, a deep understanding of physics and energy that we are only just beginning to rediscover? The stones might not just be markers. They could be keys to unlocking the Earth's own power grid. Now, let's venture into a theory that stretches the boundaries of our imagination, one that whispers of visitors from the sky. For centuries, myths and legends from every corner of the globe have told stories of giants, angels, and sky gods who descended from above to teach humanity. These aren't just campfire tales. In medieval texts, Stonehenge itself was said to have been built by the legendary wizard Merlin, who, according to the stories, didn't drag the stones but summoned them from a distant land using songs of power, a magical feat, or a description of advanced technology misinterpreted as magic. Could these myths be concealing a profound truth? What if Stonehenge was more than just a temple or an observatory? What if it was a contact point, an ancient meeting ground between early humans and intelligent beings not of this world? Picture it. Under a dark sky, strange, silent lights flicker and descend over the stones, illuminating the faces of our ancestors as they watch and on. It's a scene that feels like science fiction, yet it echoes in the oldest stories of our species. What if these visitors shared knowledge far beyond the comprehension of the time? Knowledge of the stars, of sound and its resonant power, and of the very fabric of time itself. long before recorded history began. This wasn't a one-time visit, but a foundational moment for civilization. Could Stonehenge be the last remaining echo of that first world-altering encounter? A monument built not just to honor the sun, but to signal a connection to the cosmos, a permanent reminder of the day the gods came down to Earth. The very alignment of the stones with celestial events could be more than just a calendar. It could be a star map, a guide, or even a beacon left behind by those who came from the stars. The mystery deepens when we consider that similar megalithic structures exist all over the world, all sharing strange architectural and astronomical similarities. Was this a global project, guided by a single, otherworldly intelligence? The secrets of Stonehenge aren't just above us, and the stars are within the stones themselves. They might also lie deep beneath our feet. For years, the ground around the monument was considered sacred and largely untouched, but recent advances in technology have allowed archaeologists to see what's hidden without disturbing the site. Using ground-penetrating radar, they have mapped the earth beneath Stonehenge and revealed a hidden world of unseen structures. The scans show a network of anomalies features that suggest long-forgotten tunnels and chambers stretching beneath the monument. Some of these tunnels appear to lead to ancient wells or ceremonial pits. Others connect to newly discovered burial sites, rewriting what we thought we knew about the people who lived and died here. But among these discoveries, one chamber remains a complete enigma. It is sealed, its entrance deliberately obscured, and its contents remain utterly unknown. Rumors have already begun to circulate among the research teams, whispers of strange metals found in the soil, unlike any known local alloys, stories of bizarre carvings discovered on buried stones, depicting patterns and symbols that have no precedent in ancient British art. Some even speak of human remains found encased in a fine, bluestone dust, the same material as the famous bluestones brought from hundreds of miles away. One archaeologist was overheard saying, "It feels like we weren't meant to open it." What lies within that sealed chamber? Could it contain the tools, the records, or the proof that finally explains how and why Stonehenge was built? It's a tantalizing thought. The final piece of the puzzle might be right there, just a few feet below the surface, waiting to be unearthed. Opening it could rewrite everything we know, not just about ancient Britain, but about the origins of civilization itself. So what is Stonehenge? An astronomical calendar, an acoustic temple, a portal to another world, or a tomb hiding an ancient secret? Perhaps it's all of these things at once. The more we learn, the more we realize how little we know. This ancient circle of stones continues to guard its mysteries, challenging us to look past our assumptions and open our minds to possibilities we once dismissed as myth. The truth is still out there, waiting to be discovered. In the heart of the English countryside stands a silent enigma, a circle of stones that has puzzled humanity for millennia. This is Stonehenge, a monument shrouded in mystery, its purpose lost to the mists of time. For centuries, we've gazed upon these monoliths, asking the same questions. Who built them? How? And most importantly, why? We believe them to be a temple, a calendar, a place of healing, or even a burial ground for royalty. But what if Stonehenge is something more? What if the greatest secrets aren't in the stones we see, but what lies hidden beneath our very feet? For generations, the stones have held their counsel, but now, modern technology is beginning to make them talk. In recent years, ground-penetrating radar has peeled back the layers of Earth without moving a single grain of sand, revealing a world hidden from sight. These scans have uncovered a complex network of features long-forgotten ditches, pits, and pathways that crisscross the landscape. It's an invisible blueprint of a society we are only just beginning to understand. The Stonehenge we see is merely the centerpiece of a much larger, sacred landscape. Imagine deep trenches being carefully excavated by archaeologists, digging into the chalky soil under the watchful eyes of the ancient sun. The radar has pointed them to a series of incredible discoveries, hidden chambers and long tunnels stretching beneath the monument. Some of these subterranean passages appear to lead to ancient wells, their dark depths promising preserved artifacts from a forgotten age. Others connect to ceremonial pits, perhaps once filled with offerings to the gods or the ancestors. The land itself is a storybook, and we are finally learning how to read its pages. But among these revelations, one discovery stands apart, a mystery wrapped in an enigma. One chamber remains stubbornly sealed, its contents a tantalizing secret. The whispers among the archaeological teams are electric. What could be inside? Rumors, fueled by tantalizing fragments of data, speak of objects that defy easy explanation. They talk of strange, unidentifiable metals, unlike any known from the period. They speculate about intricate carvings on stone surfaces that have not seen the light of day for 5,000 years. Most chillingly, there are whispers of human remains, found encased in a fine, bluestone dusty, very material of the smaller, mystical bluestones that were brought here from hundreds of miles away. As one archaeologist was overheard saying, a shiver in his voice, maybe we weren't meant to open it. What lies in that sealed chamber could rewrite everything we thought we knew about ancient Britain, its people, and their connection to the cosmos. As the sun sets on the Salisbury Plain, another side of Stonehenge awakens. The stones, silhouetted against a fiery sky, seem to hum with a different kind of energy. This isn't just a place for scientists and historians. It is a beacon for seekers, dreamers, and mystics. Throughout the ages, people have been drawn here, feeling a power that science cannot measure. They speak of strange lights in the sky, of disorienting energy fields, and of an inexplicable feeling of being watched. Legends tell of the stones healing the sick, of Merlin the magician conjuring them into place, and of portals to other worlds. Are these mere folk tales, or are they echoes of a forgotten truth, a different kind of knowledge passed down through generations? The stones themselves are a geological marvel. The larger sources, weighing up to 40 tons, were hauled from 20 miles away. But the smaller bluestones are the real puzzle. Geologists have traced them to the Preseli Hills in Wales, over 150 miles from here. How did a Neolithic people, with only the most basic tools, transport these massive rocks across such a challenging landscape of rivers, forests, and hills? It was a feat that would test modern engineers. Was it sheer manpower and brute force, driven by a faith we can barely comprehend? Or were they aided by a knowledge of acoustics, of sound and vibration, that allowed them to move the stones in ways we've since forgotten? The effort was monumental, suggesting the purpose of this place was of supreme, life-altering importance. As morning light returns, the mystery deepens. The first rays of the summer solstice sun pierced the heart of the circle, aligning perfectly with the central axis of the monument. Thousands gather here every year to witness this celestial event, their faces turned to the sky, continuing a tradition that is 5,000 years old. Some come armed with cameras and scientific instruments, eager to document the precise astronomical alignment. Others come with drums and prayers, connecting to a spiritual legacy that transcends time. But whether they come with science or with spirit, all feel something a pull, a quiet vibration beneath their feet, a sense of awe that unites them all. Watching the crowd, a mosaic of humanity gathered within this ancient circle, you begin to wonder, perhaps Stonehenge was never meant to be a puzzle to be solved. Perhaps its true purpose isn't found in a sealed chamber or a scientific journal. Maybe it was designed simply to be experienced. To stand within its embrace is to connect with something ancient and profound, to feel your own smallness in the face of eternity. It's a reminder that some mysteries are sacred, and that the search for answers is often more important than the answers themselves. The awe it inspires is its true function. As our view pulls back, rising high above the plain, the stones resolve into their iconic shape, a perfect circle in a sea of green. The golden light of the fading day floods the landscape, and the monument seems to glow from within. The stones remain unbroken by time, untouched by our endless quest for reason. They are a powerful testament, reminding us that our ancestors were not primitive, but profoundly sophisticated. They were astronomers, engineers, dreamers, and seekers. They were builders of eternity, and this was their grandest statement. The circle has no beginning and no end, and perhaps neither does its mystery. This is Stonehenge, timeless echo of the human spirit, a portal not to another world, but to a deeper understanding of our own. It stands as a question etched into the face of the earth, waiting for each new generation to find its own meaning within the stones. In a desolate plain in southern England, A ring of colossal stones stands silent against the sky. We call it Stonehenge. For centuries, it has guarded its secrets, leaving us with more questions than answers. Who built this magnificent monument? How did they accomplish such a feat? And most importantly, asterisk. Why? Asterisk. Today, we embark on a journey to unravel the mysteries of Stonehenge, piecing together clues from ancient history, celestial alignments, and cutting-edge science. This isn't just a story about stones. It's a story about human ingenuity, cosmic connection, and a power that may still echo through the ages. Long before the pyramids rose from the Egyptian sands, thousands of years before the Roman Empire forged its legacy, a small community on Salisbury Plain began an undertaking that defies belief. These were early Neolithic people, armed with little more than stone tools, animal bones, and sheer determination. They had no iron, no wheels, and no written language to pass down their incredible knowledge. Yet, they embarked on a project of impossible scale. Imagine this: quarrying, carving, and transporting colossal stones, some weighing up to 40 tons. That's the equivalent of 6 adult elephants. And it gets even more staggering. The smaller bluestones, weighing around 4 tons each, were traced back to the Preseli Hills in Wales, a journey of over 250 kilometers. How did they move these behemoths across rugged hills, dense forests, and wide rivers? Modern engineers have proposed countless theories, from wooden sledges rolling on logs to massive frames and sheer manpower. But no single theory fully explains the feat. Recreations show the immense struggle. Hundreds of people pulling on thick ropes woven from plant fibers, their muscles straining, their chants echoing in a rhythmic pulse to coordinate their efforts. It was a symphony of human will. But perhaps the secret wasn't just brute force. Perhaps the real engine behind Stonehenge was something far more powerful: shared belief and a profound sense of unity. These weren't just laborers. They were a community bound by a common purpose. As dusk fell, they would gather around campfires, their leaders looking to the heavens, perhaps drawing celestial patterns in the sand, charting the courses of the sun and moon. They weren't just builders. They were astronomers, priests, and visionaries, constructing a monument that would connect them to the cosmos itself. Their legacy isn't just carved in stone. It's a testament to what humanity can achieve when driven by a powerful, collective vision. So, why go to all this trouble? What was the grand purpose behind this monumental effort? The answer isn't buried in the earth, but written in the sky. Stonehenge is not just a random collection of stones. It's a meticulously designed celestial clock. Every year, on the longest day of summer, the summer solstice, a breathtaking spectacle unfolds as the sun peeks over the horizon. Its first rays slice through the landscape to align perfectly with the Heelstone, a solitary monolith standing outside the main circle. This beam of light then travels directly through an ancient avenue and illuminates the very heart of the monument. A coincidence? Absolutely not. This precise alignment reveals Stonehenge's primary function. It was an ancient observatory. Our ancestors used this incredible structure to track the sun's journey throughout the year, marking the solstices. These weren't just astronomical curiosities. They were vital for survival. Knowing when the seasons changed was crucial for planting crops, managing livestock, and planning for the long, harsh winters. The monument also aligns with major lunar events, suggesting a deep, sophisticated understanding of celestial cycles that we are only now beginning to fully appreciate. But the celestial code of Stonehenge may run even deeper. Some researchers have pointed out a striking similarity between the layout of the stones and the pattern of stars in the constellation Orion's belt. This is the very same pattern mirrored by the 3 Great Pyramids of Giza in Egypt. Could this be a mere coincidence, or is it evidence of a shared ancient knowledge? A kind of global blueprint connecting monumental sites across the world. Was Stonehenge part of a vast, interconnected network, a celestial map etched onto the surface of the earth by ancient civilizations who knew far more about the cosmos than we give them credit for? The stones are silent, but the stars might just hold the key. Beyond its architectural genius and astronomical precision, Stonehenge possesses an aura of mystery that has captivated people for millennia. It's a feeling that goes beyond mere history. It's something you can almost sense in the air. Modern science is now uncovering evidence that suggests there might be more to these ancient stones than meets the eye. Using highly sensitive instruments, researchers have discovered that many of the stones carry a unique magnetic resonance. Scans have detected strange energy anomalies within the circle, almost as if the monument is still humming with a faint, ancient power. This has led to some fascinating theories. Was Stonehenge built on a site with special energetic properties? Legends have long spoken of the stone's healing powers. In medieval times, stories circulated that the stones were magical, brought to England from a giant's land in Ireland by the wizard Merlin himself. Well, that might be folklore. The idea of Stonehenge as a place of power persists. This is where the concept of ley lines comes in. Ley lines are hypothetical, invisible rivers of terrestrial energy believed to connect sacred and ancient sites across the globe. Proponents of this theory point out that Stonehenge appears to sit at the intersection of several major ley lines, forming a powerful nexus that connects it to other significant sites like Avebury, Glastonbury, Torre, and even some speculate the pyramids of Egypt. Was Stonehenge a temple for rituals we can no longer comprehend, a place of healing for the sick and infirm? Or was it something far more advanced? Something we are only just beginning to imagine. A kind of prehistoric energy machine, designed to harness and amplify the natural forces of the earth. The more we learn, the more we realize that the true power of Stonehenge may lie not just in its past, but in the secrets it has yet to reveal. From a feat of impossible engineering to a precise celestial calendar, and finally, to a potential source of mysterious energy, Stonehenge challenges our understanding of the ancient world. It stands as a powerful reminder that our ancestors were not primitive, but possessed a wisdom and a connection to the world that we have perhaps lost. They were pioneers, innovators, and dreamers who etched their vision into the very landscape of the earth, creating a monument that continues to inspire awe and wonder thousands of years later. The ultimate purpose of Stonehenge may forever remain a mystery, a puzzle with missing pieces, but that is its enduring magic. It invites us to look deeper, to question our assumptions, and to imagine the incredible potential of the human spirit. Have you ever gazed at the sky and wondered what secrets the stars hold? For thousands of years, our ancestors did the same. And on a windswept plain in England, they built something that still baffles us today. A circle of colossal stones, aligned with the sun and moon, a marvel of engineering that seems to defy its own time. This is Stonehenge. But who built it? And more importantly, why? Join me as we journey back in time, 5,000 years into a world without written language, without metal tools, yet with a profound connection to the cosmos. For centuries, we believed Stonehenge was the work of druids, mystical priests of the ancient Celts. But archaeology tells a different story. The stones were raised thousands of years asterisk. Before the druids even existed. So, who were these mysterious builders? Recent discoveries have unearthed clues. Deep within the Preseli Hills in Wales, over 150 miles away, lie the quarries for the smaller bluestones. Imagine sheer determination it took. These weren't just a few people. This was a monumental effort, a community project that spanned generations. They moved stones weighing up to 4 tons, dragging them over land and rafting them across treacherous waters. Why go to such lengths? What drove them to create this masterpiece? The answer isn't just about building, it's about belief. Look at the layout. It's no accident. On the summer solstice, the longest day of the year, the rising sun aligns perfectly with the heel stone, casting a ray of light directly into the heart of the circle. At the winter solstice, the shortest day, the setting sun does the exact opposite. This wasn't just a calendar, it was a cosmic clock, a sacred theater where the movements of the heavens were celebrated on Earth. They were farmers, hunters, people whose lives depended on the seasons. Stonehenge was their connection to the cycles of life, a way to understand and honor the forces that governed their world. But there's a deeper, more somber layer to this story. Buried near the stones are the remains of hundreds of people, men, women, and even children, laid to rest with care. Some were cremated, their ashes placed in sacred pits, Archaeologists now believe Stonehenge was a vast ceremonial center, a place where life and death met under the stars. Perhaps they saw the stones as portals, guiding the souls of their loved ones to the afterlife. Each ritual, each burial, was part of an eternal dance between the sun and moon, day and night, life and death. Yet, not all believe this was the work of human hands alone. Could there be a more extraordinary explanation? Some theorists point to ancient carvings and texts from around the world that depict flying discs, strange beings, and celestial lights. They ask, could Stonehenge have been a landing site? A cosmic marker for visitors from another world? The idea might sound like science fiction, but proponents argue that the stones themselves hold a clue. Some claim they resonate at specific frequencies, almost like a giant antenna technology that shouldn't have existed 5,000 years ago. Was Stonehenge a beacon, sending a message to those among the stars? While scientists remain skeptical, the theory captures our imagination, adding another layer of mystery to this ancient puzzle. Even today, Stonehenge draws millions of people. Some come for the science, hoping to decode its astronomical secrets. Others come for the spiritual connection, feeling an energy that transcends time. We've uncovered its age, we know who likely built it, and we have theories about its purpose. But the ultimate question remains unanswered. Why? Why invest so much effort into building something that would outlast their own civilization? Something so grand it's visible from the heavens. As the sun sets over the Salisbury Plain, casting long shadows that dance between the ancient pillars, we are reminded that Stonehenge is more than just a monument of stone. It is a monument to the human spirit. It proves that long before our modern world, our ancestors looked up at the same sky and asked the same profound questions we ask today. Where do we come from? What lies beyond our world? Perhaps the answer has been there all along, carved in stone and whispering on the wind through time. The enduring mystery of Stonehenge reminds us that some questions are not meant to be answered, but to be asked, forever connecting us to the past and to the stars above, marking the longest day of the year with unfailing accuracy. This proves its builders were sophisticated astronomers, possessing a deep understanding of solar and lunar cycles. But the mystery deepens. Some researchers have pointed out startling similarities between Stonehenge's layout and celestial patterns, like the constellation Orion's Belt, a pattern also mirrored by the Great Pyramids of Giza in Egypt. Could these ancient wonders, separated by thousands of miles and different cultures, be connected? Is it possible that Stonehenge was part of a global network of sacred sites, a planetary grid designed by a forgotten global civilization? This theory, once dismissed, is gaining traction as we uncover more about the advanced knowledge of our ancestors. Were they sharing information across continents, guided by a universal understanding of the cosmos? The stones remain silent, but the patterns in the sky suggest a story far grander than we ever imagined. As we stand before these ancient stones, we're faced with more questions than answers. The people who built Stonehenge left behind no written records, no detailed blueprints to explain their motives. But perhaps the monument itself is their legacy. It speaks of a people deeply connected to the earth and the sky, a community capable of incredible feats of engineering and organization, all driven by a shared spiritual purpose. Archaeological digs around the site have revealed evidence of massive feasts and gatherings, suggesting Stonehenge was a place of pilgrimage, healing, and ceremony. It was the sacred center of their world, a place where the realms of the living, the dead, and the divine all converged. The thousands of human remains found nearby hint at its role as a monumental burial ground, a final resting place for generations of ancestors, making it a vast city of the dead. So, what is Stonehenge? It's not just one thing. It's a masterpiece of engineering, a precise astronomical observatory, a sacred temple, and a solemn cemetery. It is a testament to the ingenuity, spirit, and ambition of our ancestors. It reminds us that even in a world we consider primitive, humanity was capable of reaching for the stars and creating something that would endure for millennia. The stones continue to hold their secrets, challenging each new generation to look deeper and question what we think we know about our own past. Imagine a world without cities, without empires, a world where survival was a daily struggle. Yet, in this world, our ancestors chose to undertake an almost impossible task. They quarried, transported, and erected colossal stones, each weighing tens of tons, with a precision that baffles us even today. They built Stonehenge. For centuries, this stone circle has stood on the Salisbury Plain, a silent witness to the passage of time. It has seen civilizations rise and fall, heard the whispers of countless generations, and guarded its secrets with an unyielding silence. We've pored over every detail, using ground-penetrating radar, DNA analysis, and astronomical calculations to peel back the layers of its past. We know who built it, not a single group, but waves of different peoples over thousands of years. We know when, starting over 5,000 years ago. We even have a good idea of how, through sheer human ingenuity and communal effort. But the one question that echoes through the ages, the question that draws millions of us to this sacred ground each year, is why? Why pour so much energy, so much life into creating this monument? Early theories painted a grim picture of druidic priests and human sacrifice, a narrative fueled by Roman accounts and a fascination with the macabre. But archaeology tells a different story. The remains found here speak not of violence, but of reverence. They are the bones of people from across ancient Britain and even mainland Europe, many of whom were ill or injured. It seems Stonehenge wasn't a place of sacrifice, but a place of healing, a lords of the Neolithic age, where people made pilgrimages seeking cures from the gods they believed resided within these stones. Others look to the sky. The alignment is undeniable. On the summer solstice, the sun rises perfectly over the heel stone, casting a beam of light directly into the heart of the circle. On the winter solstice, the setting sun does the exact opposite, framed perfectly by the great This was no accident. It was a colossal calendar, a celestial clock that marked the turning of the seasons. For these early farmers, knowing when to plant and when to harvest was the difference between life and death. Stonehenge connected them to the cosmos, making the heavens predictable, understandable. It was their science, their religion, and their survival guide, all carved in stone. But the story gets even deeper. The bluestones, the smaller inner stones, are not local. They were brought here from the Preseli Hills in Wales, over 150 miles away. Why go to such extraordinary lengths? Recent studies suggest the bluestones were believed to have magical or healing properties. Perhaps the monument was built here, on this specific plain, to unite the power of the local sarsen stones with the sacred magic of the distant bluestones. It was a symbol of unification, a monumental effort to bring different tribes and their beliefs together in one shared, sacred space, a testament to community. Even today, Stonehenge draws millions each year. Some come for science, others for spirit, but the monument remains silent, keeping its true secret. We have uncovered its age, its builders, its many purposes. A celestial calendar, a center for healing, a symbol of unity. Yet, the ultimate question remains, why? Why did they build something so enduring that it would outlast their civilization? Something so grand it seems meant to be seen from the heavens. Stonehenge stands not just as a monument of stone, but as a monument of the human spirit. A reminder that long before our modern world, our ancestors looked up at the same sky and asked the same fundamental questions we still ask today. Where do we come from? What is our place in the universe? What lies beyond? Perhaps the answer has been waiting all along, not as a single, simple explanation, but as a reflection of our own enduring quest for meaning. It's carved in stone, whispered on the wind that sweeps across the plain. The mystery of Stonehenge is, in the end, the mystery of ourselves. For over 5,000 years, these stones have stood, silent, unbroken, eternal. No king commanded their creation. No empire claimed their glory. They were built by people whose names we have forgotten, yet their legacy still speaks across millennia. Stonehenge, a circle of mystery carved into the heart of England. It's a symbol of something far greater than stone, a bridge between earth and the sky, between life and death, between humankind and the cosmos. But how did they do it? And more importantly, what? Today, we're going beyond the guidebooks to uncover the soul of this incredible monument. 5,000 years ago, Britain was a different world, a land of wild rivers, dense forests, and roaming beasts like mammoths and giant deer. Tribes of early farmers and hunters began to gather right here on Salisbury Plain, drawn to something they couldn't quite explain. They saw something special in this landscape, and so they began to mark the earth. At first, it was simple: digging ditches, raising earthworks, aligning wooden posts. But then, they started something truly astonishing. They began hauling stones larger than any human-built object the world had ever seen before. The very first circle, the one that started it all, wasn't even stone. It was wood, a massive henge of timber posts, aligned with the sun. This was just the beginning. The next phase saw the arrival of the famous bluestones. These aren't local rocks. They were quarried from the Preseli Hills in Wales, a staggering 250 kilometers, or 150 miles, away. Imagine the scene. No wheels, no cranes, no advanced technology, just human strength, sheer will, and incredible ingenuity. These stones, some weighing up to 4 tons, were dragged across rivers, over hills, and through swamps. We're talking about a monumental effort involving hundreds, maybe thousands of people, working together for a common purpose. We see glimpses of their methods in the archaeological record: rollers made from logs, ropes woven from plant fibers, and likely a lot of chanting, sweat, and communal struggle. So, the burning question remains: why? Why endure such an impossible, back-breaking labor? The answer lies in belief. These weren't just rocks, they were sacred. These early people believed the stones held a special power, a divine energy that connected them to the cosmos, to their ancestors, and to the very cycle of life and death. This wasn't construction, it was devotion. And the bluestones were just the appetizer. The main course was yet to come. The giant sarsen stones, the ones that form the iconic outer circle and trilithines, are even more mind-boggling. These colossal sandstone blocks were sourced from about 30 kilometers, or 20 miles, north of the site. They weigh up to 30 tons each. That's like dragging 5 adult elephants through the countryside. Archaeologists believe they used a technique of shaping the stones on site. You can still see the evidence of their craftsmanship today. They created mortise and tenon joints, the same kind a woodworker would use, to lock the horizontal lintels onto the upright pillars. This wasn't just piling rocks up. It was sophisticated, prehistoric architecture. They were building something to last for eternity. This entire process wasn't a single project. It was a multi-generational legacy. Stonehenge was built and rebuilt over a period of 1,500 years. Generations were born, lived, and died, all contributing to this one sacred place. It tells us that this wasn't the whim of a single leader, but a deeply embedded cultural and spiritual mission that united people across centuries. So, what was its purpose? The most popular theory, and one with strong evidence, is that it was a celestial observatory, an ancient calendar. On the summer solstice, the longest day of the year, the rising sun aligns perfectly with the heel stone, which stands just outside the main circle. On the winter solstice, the shortest day, the setting sun aligns with the great trilith. For these early farmers, tracking the seasons wasn't a hobby. It was a matter of survival. Knowing when to plant crops and when to harvest was crucial. The sun was their clock and their god, and Stonehenge was their way of marking its sacred journey across the sky. It was a place where heaven and earth met, a temple dedicated to the sun and the moon. But it was more than just a calendar. Excavations around Stonehenge have revealed hundreds of burial mounds. It was a vast ceremonial landscape, a place where people came to honor their dead and connect with their ancestors. The cremated remains found at the site suggest it was a cemetery for the elite, for chieftains, priests, or perhaps even a royal dynasty. It was a final resting place for the most important members of their society, a place where their spirits could be close to the gods. Recent theories even suggest it was a place of healing. The bluestones from Wales were believed to have magical or curative properties in ancient folklore. Perhaps people made long pilgrimages to Stonehenge, seeking to be healed by the power of the stones. It might have been the ancient equivalent of a cathedral and a hospital, all rolled into one. A center for the body, the soul, and the community. The truth is, Stonehenge was likely all of these things and more. It wasn't just one thing. It was a multi-purposed spiritual center that evolved over centuries. Its meaning changed for the different generations who added to it. It was a calendar, a cemetery, a temple, a place of healing, and a symbol of communal power. As the Bronze Age gave way to the Iron Age, and new beliefs and cultures arrived in Britain, the importance of Stonehenge began to fade. The knowledge of its construction and its precise rituals was lost to time. The stones fell silent, their purpose shrouded in mystery. For thousands of years, they stood as enigmatic ruins, inspiring awe, fear, and countless legends from Merlin the wizard to visiting giants. And that brings us back to today. As the sun rises and sets over these ancient sarsens, we are left with more questions than answers. Who were these people, really? What stories did they tell? What songs did they sing as they heaved these massive stones into place? While we may never know their names, their legacy is written in stone, etched against the sky. Stonehenge isn't just a monument to the past, it's a testament to the enduring human spirit, our need to understand our place in the universe, to reach for something beyond ourselves, and to build something that lasts forever. It reminds us that even without modern technology, our ancestors were capable of achieving the impossible, driven by faith, community, and a profound connection to the world around them. What do you think was the true purpose of Stonehenge? Let me know your theories down in the comments. And if you enjoyed this journey back in time, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more deep dives into the world's greatest mysteries. Thanks for watching.